about that time, 3:30 Eastern. Trade ideas, live Q&A here. Closing down the market. All right. Looks like we got video. Sounds like we got audio. Live Q&A, open forum. So, come with questions. I, of course, will entertain the best I can if you are all kind of silent in that crowd for me here. I'll give people a moment to kind of pile in. I know speaking with someone in our live chat through our website asking about Holly. So if you have specific Holly questions, let me know. Other than that, if it's kind of quiet with the questions in here, I do a Holly recap, go through some of the trades that she made, the winners, the losers, the spread in between, the risk management, and so on and so forth. So let everybody kind of pile in here. All right, so Monday, I find a lot of Mondays are kind of a gap and fill day. And take a look at the SPY on a 15-minute chart real quick here while I wait for people to pile in, see if anybody's got questions. And here's Friday, here's today. We got the gap up, we came down, filled it, and then some, reversed it right back up to all-time highs again, gave it back, and moving back up again. So yeah, kind of a choppy day from the SPY. A lot of jawboning from different media outlets and politicians and things like that. I don't really pay attention to the headlines or anything like that. I will say, up here in the nosebleed sections of all-time highs, it's a grind. It's not usually lift off. It's make a high, pull back, make a high, pull back. Very typical kind of stuff. Just not a market I'd want to be short. That's all I could say for sure. And again, I see people kind of coming in and out on the stream here. So it's Trade Ideas live Q&A. If anybody has questions, please fire them away. What we are, who we are, what we do, scanning capabilities, so on and so forth. We can look at some charts together, things like that. And like I said, I'll try to keep it interesting, keep it moving. Some Holly recap coming up in a moment here. If no questions come in, dive around the indexes and some sectors as well. So, all right, still kind of silent here on the horn. Looking at, I don't run a ton of stuff during the day scanning wise. I don't run a ton of stuff in general scanning anymore to kind of keep things simple for myself these days. But it looks like Barry's option scanner was pretty active. Not sure what that looked like. Some stuff coming from his watch list. Some stuff, my watch list was pretty active today here. I curate a lot of stuff that comes in. I like to keep it really simple. I don't like too much data coming in at once when I'm trying to make decisions. So just my kind of personal preference. I like to run around like a squirrel chasing after everything that's coming across as acorns. So, all right, with that said, let's jump into some Holly. Like I said, I've not looked at Holly at all today. So, I like to split it back and forth between starting with winners and losers. I've been starting with the winners recently. Let's start at a loser here. See what the trade looked like. Stop out on this trade. Trying from the long side. We got XPEV. So breakout long, got the gap up. She got in early, got in right here on this big wick. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Looks like it was breaking out. No happy accident. I'm sure that wick coincides with with a high from last week, and unfortunately got rejected there and never really recovered it. So came right back down, got stopped out. If you were in that, following along with her anyways. That alert came in at 9:42 and 18 seconds Eastern. She got stopped out about 13 minutes later, give or take a few seconds. So she got in here, got stopped out there, and just the way it goes sometimes. That's why I don't like to chase things, especially gapping up that much in the morning. I like to let things kind of come back, settle, and set. Apparently you are a perfect circle. I've seen people coming in and out, but it's hard to know with these things if it's a bot coming in or out. So, but happy to have you here. Thank you. So cool. So a couple people I see piling, like I said, piling in and out. But back to this alert here. you know, that chase that early alert kind of thing, chase that early gap up. Holly chased it. Like I said, on the 5 minute chart, you see it there. Kind of chops around underneath that entry for a little bit before unfortunately giving it up and getting stopped out. And if we look here, didn't quite fill the gap. Did it fill the gap? I'm not sure. Let's see. My eyes aren't always the best on this. Let's take a look. Did it fill the gap? Let's get a line. Let's make it official. And anybody that knows me, I always talk about pivot lines are not exact; they're approximations. Pretty close to filling that gap. We get rid of that line. We filled the gap. Look at that. We didn't. It was a hair off. It was a few pennies. So some textbook stuff here for technical analysis. Nothing complicated. Nothing fancy. We gapped up. All right. We gapped up massive. We ran into resistance from a couple of days ago. All right. Back going to last week. We came back down. We fought around with buyers and sellers. We filled that gap before bringing it back up again. Very liquid stock, 18.6 mils traded as we come into the last 25 minutes, give or take, of the market. It was doing, at this point anyways now, 2.5 times its normal volume, given a 10-day average on that ratio for our relative volume. And we can kind of see for most of the day that volume just kind of faded for the whole day. One blip back up there, one blip back up there, but really for the rest of the day, it's kind of fading away here. So that's what we're looking at on the Holly Loser. It is what it is. They're not all winners. Let's look at a reduced risk. For those that don't know, reduced risk is her conservative exit saying, hey, this trade isn't working out and I'm not sticking around for the stop. We're at a loss, but we're not going to let that loss get away from us any further. So the entry was here, 12:27 Eastern and 38 seconds. That reduced risk exit is 2:56 on the dot Eastern. Possibly coincides with a time stop. I'm not sure exactly how the algo goes on that, but all the same, that is going to coincide with this end of the shaded area here on this 15-minute chart. And what strategy are we looking at here? Breakout. So, all right, again, looked like it was going to break out here. Taking a look on this candle, here's where she gets in. Looks like it's set to go. That candle opened. The candle opens up here. Looks like it's set to take out the high on the day. We're wobbling around. We get the wick like it's going to take out the high of the day and reject right off there. Again, approximations. Nothing's ever exact when it comes to pivot lines, but not far off from highs on Friday. So if we zoom there on the daily chart, we see that there. We can see it here on the 15-minute chart. Just got rejected, and it was never a trade that was in real pain, to be honest. Came down here, almost tagged $90. So dollar on a $90 stock isn't a huge deal, and kind of just wobbled around for the day. And it kind of is what it is. Not a lot of volume on the stock though. So doing under 1.5 times its relative volume for that 10-day average. Only 368,000 shares traded today, or coming up on 369,000 shares traded today. So her algo picked it up for whatever reason. But like I said, breakout looked like it was probably going to break out here from there. That's what the algo was more or less looking at. But as a trader's eye, I didn't see anything that was really exciting me here. You could have said, all right, we broke $90 or $91. Maybe that whole number break and we're going to move up. Maybe we got some room just over 92 from there, but there wasn't a lot of interest. There wasn't a lot of volume in the stock. That's, coming from a trader's eye. So that's what I saw there. Let's see, question. Can you take a peek at biotech sector? 5 of my bio swings up. 3 of them up 20% from 2.5. Curious what you have to say with other sector analysis. And listen to your content primarily thrown out there. Question. Yeah, I'll circle around to that. Give me, let me hit one winner from Holly since we did a couple of losers. What do we want to look at? I think let's look at CYT here. All right. So you see there's a spread there. Not the best one to look at. 237,000 shares traded by the end of today. So on the liquidity. 2.5 times its relative volume. If we look at, let's bring over time and sales, not the worst spread in the world, probably a spread that's workable, to be honest. The issue is if you're going to get filled or not. So, Algo called it on that breakout long. It seemed to be one that she liked today. Yeah, breakout long. Well, breakout long. So a couple different strategies there for this, for the different segments here on Holly. So she called it here and made a quick move up. All right. Didn't have a lot of time in that one, to be honest. And like I said, kind of on the liquidity of that. Let's jump one more and see if we can find something a little more tasty from Holly. Take a look at the spread that might have been here. All right, a little better here. And, so we're at 600,000 shares traded today, 2 times its normal relative volume. We get the entry signal here or here on the 5-minute chart, depending on what you're looking at for charts. And you get a solid about 15 to 20 minutes to have eked out some of the profits that were on that one there before coming right back down here. And we're looking at a profit save, meaning that she wasn't going to let a winner turn to a loser. Profit save essentially being a trailing stop. And so she exited on that candle right before it pierced back through your entry signal there. So wasn't the same as we saw from Holly last Thursday and Friday. Unfortunately, those were some really, really special days from her. There's a little bit of spread to be had in some of this here on the risk on, risk off, or excuse me, the conservative moderate modes. Conservative just meaning that you're following these exits that she would make here, and moderate meaning that the only thing that is going to get you out is either a stop hit or you're holding to the end of the day, and that's it on the conservative. The difference between conservative and moderate, pretty simple on those two. So circle back to you. Perfect circle. IBB is what we like to look at for the biotechs. At least I do. I feel like it's playing catch up or trying to play catch up. It's one of those sectors that's not as healthy as the rest for the year. When we looked at the sector list last week, one of the days I decided to display it like this here in the position and range year. And we can see here how, pretty healthy going down this list. And the only thing we ever exclude from any kind of technical analysis is the VXX, because that just doesn't, you don't do technical analysis on VXX. It's really a hedge. But if we look at the IBB, I think is one of the sectors that isn't the greatest at the moment. Where are you, IBB? Maybe somewhere in here. There we go. So yeah, position range in the year, just trying to play catch up to, the bulk of what we're doing up here. Pretty healthy looking sector list overall for the markets. All these doom callers out there. Market crash tomorrow, whatever. It didn't crash the last 10 times I've called it. I'll tell you that. So anyways, that's where the biotechs are at. That's, your heavy hitter that you want to look at for that. You can take a look at the XBI. That's another biotech. It's not quite as liquid, I would say. But same kind of thing here. If we look at this here on this, so, you got the XBI is negative on the year right now, and the IBB is, just eking out a win here on the year. Where'd you go again, IBB? You're in here somewhere. There you go. The IBB is just eking out a win here. So, you got two sectors that are trying to play catch up. And as far as the XIB goes, you gapped up. You just gapped up a tiny bit today. It was very, very strong overall, the whole sector. You're running right into this resistance there. You're up above the 50. It looks like you're going to close above the 50 moving average on that there. But, those are my bull cases here. My bear case is this, way off this high from here. That was a little too far to zoom out. Sorry. Tick in one. You're very far off that top right here. All right. And, you kind of just got this every time it tries to get off the mat, it gets smacked back down. So there's your highs and a lower high and a lower high, and you get smacked down there and then a lower high. So is this a lower high or is it a trend change? No way to predict these things. We can start to position ourselves like it's a trend change if we believe that. The other thing to note is this big range down here. All right. Now do we say that there's a low, there's a higher low, there's the next higher low? So we're wedging. Wedge has got to resolve itself at some point. Can't go sideways forever. I mean, yes, it can go sideways forever. Not likely. That's what you're seeing there. And then the IBB, not really much different. Maybe a little less healthy looking. Maybe, I don't. Was that a double top? You know, in hindsight, I suppose it was. But now are we making, we're grinding higher. We're making higher lows all through here. We're well below that 50 moving average. Are we going to grind up higher onto that 50 moving average? Again, I'm not sure what the cause is for this other than is it a sector rotation? The sign of a healthy bull market. The banks and energy have been our big leaders as of late. Is it time for is it time for these guys to take back over? And is that going to where we're going to find our leadership? So that's my short and skinny on that. Other than that, it's always what I say: perfect circle, manage your risk. You're up all this money. It doesn't hurt to take some of that money off the top. So I see a question coming in. Plan another test drive. Test drive will be in January sometime. That's when we'll have our next one. Not till next year. That's the plan for now. That's what's on the calendar. Using Interactive Brokers from Canada is easy to connect with my trade ideas. Yeah. Interactive Brokers is easy to connect from anywhere, as far as I know. As long as your ISP isn't blocking you, or a firewall or anything like that. Michael Moss that I work with here, been using it forever and a day. He trades exclusively through IB. He's probably much like myself. If I didn't have to have Trader Workstation open for the connection, I wouldn't even open Trader Workstation anymore. I trade exclusively through IB myself, but I am US based. So, but no, everything is, our IB connection is solid. It's been rock solid for a long time now. If you want to take a look here, I'm trying to find a video for you. Find Michael Noss's video on connecting to IB. Copy link address. You want to take a look at this here. The only thing that changed in this that you'll have to take a look at now is this. If you're connecting, once you're connected here, so I'm not going to connect to IB, but I'll connect to the simulator. And right here where it says select account, you just got to select your account there. That's something that's new that's been added since that video was done. That was because of a change that IB did with accounts and looking at accounts. The same thing goes if you had a strategy that you're trading directly from or automating. Right click. If you go to edit trading strategy, right here it's going to say account. So you got to select the account in there, and that's it. So nothing fancy or complicated about any of it. Just have to link it. That's all. So there's it's two spots that you connect to IB itself, and then you connect to your account. And that's the short and skinny of that. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple as far as that stuff goes. Nope, that's exactly a perfect circle. You can always re-enter, and listen, if the train continues to leave the station without you, so be it. You locked in your profit, you move on to the next trade, and that's all there is to it. That's, one of my sayings that I've said for a while now is I'd rather miss out on the downside. I'd rather miss out on the upside than participate in the downside. And letting green trades turn into red trades is just as big as a sin. It's about as big of a sin as trading without a stop. Two of the worst things I think someone could possibly do. So that's, my personal opinion. Everybody is free to manage their risk however they see fit, of course. So, I see people coming in, coming out. What are we doing here? This is Trade Ideas Software. Do a live Q&A for it every day at 3:30 Eastern. Usually go about an hour long, give or take. Today, I will be out of here promptly at 4:15 Eastern. So, come all with questions. There's no question that I won't answer market related. And if I don't know, I'll just simply tell you I don't know. It's a superpower that a lot of people don't have to say I don't know. I'm never afraid to say that. If I can't get you an answer for whatever reason, we have our email. We can send it in there. Mine's greater than mine. We'll jump in on the question to help answer that. So anybody that ever has questions, after hours or they want to put them in, info@trade-ideas.com. That's where you can get us. I'll say there's someone there from as early as about 4:30 in the morning Eastern to about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern in the evening. Can we stop anytime if we go monthly? Yeah. This is what I would say to you. If you're interested to sign up, start with a monthly. Okay. And if you decide that you like it, within that first month, even if it's on day 29 of that first month. You can, and you want to lock in for a year to get the savings, paying for the rest of the year up front. We'll prorate the whole thing, what you signed up for against whatever else, and you get all the quote unquote savings of the rest of the year. But all sales are final. It's clear on our billing statement. So that's why I always recommend someone go with a monthly. You don't listen. You don't like it after a month, you cancel. That's the end of it. You're out. You paid for a month. That's the end of it. So I will do this here. There is, for anybody new signing up, there's still a code that's good for 25% off that first month. So you can go here. Anybody who's thinking about signing up, go here. All right, and use that link and this code. That code is good till midnight tonight. We're always having some kind of sale. There's always at least 15% off. We'll probably have a Black Friday sale again in a few weeks. So if you're still hesitant to sign up, but you want to get a 25% off, we will. I won't promise, but more likely than not, like the last 5 Black Fridays in a row, we'll have a 25% off going into that Black Friday or coming out of that Black Friday. And so let's say you sign up right now for a monthly, and you take it with a 25% off, and you decide before the end of the monthly, I want to lock in the whole savings with the 25% for the year. Just email us at info@trade-ideas.com. Let us know one way or the other, and we'll honor prorated the 25% off versus what you paid for the rest of the year and all that stuff. Or once again, at the end of the month, you decide you don't like it, you just cancel. That's the end of it. You're not auto enrolled to anything. You want out, you're out. That's the end of it. So that's the short and skinny on all of that. So, and again, I see people coming in and out. Trade Ideas Scanners live Q&A here. Please fire away questions. I like it when the questions are mostly about the software and the scanner, but we could look at some charts and things like that. I kind of did a bit of a Holly recap. If anybody has more Holly questions, let me know. If not, give it a couple minutes before I start to hit a market round out and recap on that. Let's look at Barry's option scanner. The one thing with Barry's option scanner, love it. Seems to do always better in the in earnings season, and the later day alerts are kind of meh versus the earlier day alerts. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look at DNOW, see what that did. Now, I'm going into this not knowing what this looked like, any of these alerts looked like today. I did basically no trading today. I was really just troubleshooting software and letting positions that I have ride. So, all right, DNOW, we get the alert at, 743 on the price. So right here on this candle, and just kind of a grinder all day. You're never in trouble off that alert price. Looking at it on a daily chart, nothing really jumps out at me. It's, really beaten up. You're under any moving average that you can think of within reason. I mean, this red one here is an 8 EMA, which is pressing it down. That's your 50, that's your 20 on the SMAs. This black line, for anybody that's curious, is a position low of 20 days. So, that's the new position low of 20 days. This was the previous low of 20 days. It had climbed to here, and now it's back down here, obviously. Got smacked up. Must have been news. What gas, oil, fuel, machinery. It hasn't reported earnings according to our data provider yet, which is coming in 2 days on Wednesday before the market. So, I don't know really what this was about here. Oil and gas have been a big leader, so it's kind of sad to see this chart like that, especially given that nat gas, what it had been doing for so long, and the XOP and machinery and all that kind of coincides, but the chart is what the chart is. Like I said, I do not look at news. I don't care what the news is. All I care is what the chart says. Manage my risk according to what the chart says. Hindsight says that's a double top there from that. So anyways, that's short and skinny on that alert. Nothing special from that alert. Nothing terrible either. Obviously, a lot of options volume, insane amount of options volume today, but not much stock volume. So maybe someone knows something. Maybe it's a head fake. I don't know. Smarter minds might know better than me. Nope, just this guy on the volume here. There's some fancy chart stuff that is still coming through the pipes right now. Things that we've already added, of course, and then we got those earnings that's going to be coming up here. We're working on much closer to tick by tick data on the charts as well. That's the next game. That's the next phase, the next game that's coming along in that though. Let's see, IMMR. I feel like I've seen this a lot lately. Maybe I have. I don't know. Not a bad alert, I'd have to say. Came in at 886. So you got it somewhere here on this candle. You're never in much pain off that alert, depending on what kind of momentum trader you are, or if you are not a momentum trader. It kind of looked good on a 5-minute chart. Looked a little extended still here on a 15-minute chart to me. But again, never much pain, and then nice, beautiful move. So you get a lot of time to manage that trade, a lot of times to do things with that trade if you wanted. And even on this fade, never really got you in trouble and gave you another shot here at a few bucks. So another good one from Barry's option scanner, 2328 at 1020 on this guy. Another one, not hitting a home run, but never really got you in much trouble either. Dip back below here, give you another shot at an entry here, pushed up higher. Kind of stayed up here above that entry after that, and still kind of grinding higher there. So nothing crazy, but nothing tough to manage either. And the theme with some of these that I noticed is, now this one won't be that, but obviously heavy options volume in all of these, but some of them didn't have a lot of stock volume. This one, not the case. Unfortunately, got top tick here on that big burst. But again, that was, pretty extended off that moving average right there. So that's a kind of short and skinny there. IO. And kind of just chopping around here. I'm never crazy about these lower priced ones in general, no matter what the scan is. Just not my bag of chips to munch on. Where did that come in at 40, sitting at 55 now. So, percentage basis is okay. You never got in trouble off that. I mean, the entry's right here on that line. You stayed above that the entire time. So you're exiting with a profit no matter what if you decided to run after that alert. DM at 836. Let's see. Not a bad alert from this, and you're never in trouble off that alert. Never came down below that candle again. Some decent moves there. Faded a little bit. All right, but certainly not getting rich off that. Certainly never in pain of losing money off that alert. So, all right, that's the kind of short and skinny from Barry's option scanner there. And again, anybody filtering in and filtering out, trade ideas, live questions and answers session here. So if you got questions, what's going on, anything like that, please, hit the questions button, or, hit the chat panel there, fire away with some questions. I always like it when you guys are helping create and generate the content. Makes my life easier instead of just kind of babbling away here. So that's the short and skinny on all of that. Got a message, just saw a message coming. I have to look at this chart. I've never bet against a cult stock. Tesla is about to double in a month. My God, that's not even a joke. So, well, let's see. Somewhere here, 750, really 1500 has doubled, but just insane. I mean, just wow. The market will regulate itself. Okay. Here's why the S&P is where it is, probably, I'd have to say. Messaging back and forth about this a little bit here. Just, incredible. All the power to anybody that's been able to ride this wave on the right side more than not. You've obviously probably done well for your kid's college fund or something like that. Just crazy. That's all I can say. Don't bet against Elon Musk. I wouldn't. I wouldn't bet against him with your money. So you just can't help but marvel at that chart. That's all I can say for that. So, all right, we jumped around there. For those that don't know or new to this, I curate a list that, I'm testing some stuff that maybe one day I'll go into some major automation. I curate a short list of stocks. That's why it's called automation list. I'm not running some big fund with it or anything like that. Just testing some stuff out as I know automation is like a big thing. Everybody wants to do it, but it's hard. It's hard as heck. It's the hardest form of trading that exists, as far as my experience. But my idea behind it is to try to find some stocks that have what I think are some quality charts and setups, and figuring out a way to attach those stocks into a short list with an alert list looking at those stocks only. So this is kind of what the list looked like today. It's primarily for day trading, so what I've been finding a theme recently is the first several months that I was doing this, it was working really well with breaking out new highs on the day, and I was seeing great success. Now, the last probably 2.5 months going on, I'm finding that it's worked better on pullbacks than chasing on the high of days. And, this is a prime example of it. Chase it at a high of a day. There's a few metrics that go into this here. So let me dive into that actually before we go through the list. So what I'm looking at is obviously a selected list of stocks that I curated myself. And then the alert window has got to be a new high on the day. However, this won't start looking at anything till 15 minutes after the market opens. It's got to be 75% above the low of the day before's range. It has to trade at least 75,000 shares on the day, and it has to average 300,000 shares for the last 5 days. So those are all the things that have to happen in order to get anything here. And, ERVL looks like it's ready to go. Doesn't, pulls back into this moving average. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to scan that moving average. Neither do you. Before going on to actually, making a decent move on the day. Closed just slightly above that alert price of 1749. Of course, there's an after hours tick here, but who knows what that could be. BLDP, take a look here what that did. And same kind of theme here. It alerted all the way up here, and then it pulled back right into the moving average before grinding higher, and closed up above 19. Again, you got to tick down here after hours, but that's meaningless to us. And I think we're going to find a theme here on these early alerts. So, what does that mean? It means when I start to focus on this again a little bit, maybe it's back to the drawing board on how I'm trying to scan for these stocks and how I'm trying to manage in and out of those stocks like this. So again, same theme. I got top ticked here, pulled back into the moving average before moving back into what would have been a decent alert. There are some risk parameters that are attached to this. It's 4% profit target, 2% stop loss. Just numbers that I picked. Just want to see double the money, double the risk. That's all. CLSK. See if anything looked good here. So, all right, a little better here. We get an entry here, 2030, up towards here. Not a bad move on that there. Stayed up above the pain level for the rest of the day. Like the close on that, I'll be honest. See what that means for the next day. We've cleared some resistance. We're running into some other resistance. So we'll see how that kind of chops around and what that plays out to be in there. Anything else noteworthy here? There's some charts that I still like in here. Blue is a chart I still like. I don't know if that alert looked good off this. Yeah, that looked all right. Moving up there, if you ask why I like it, there's this gap to fill. It's really filling it now. I've been watching it. Anybody that's been here knows I've talked about this a lot. I've been talking probably since back here somewhere. I've been talking about this stock in that range. Now it starts to get extended on the daily off those moving averages. We'll see if it pulls back, if it's just going to power right up and fill that gap. So it's kind of what my eye is seeing, what I'm looking at here. Market is closed, so let's spend the last little bit here before I got to run out a little bit early today. Saw a lot of chatter about the IWM. I didn't pull up a chart of it, but let's take a look here. The IWM has been lacking. For those that don't know, your IWM is your small caps, and what do you know? IWM trying to crack out some all-time highs here, almost. So all-time high is somewhere back in these candles here. It's hard to see when you're zoomed out like that exactly. It's going to be your all-time high right here on the IWM. We can see that lifetime high here on my single stock window, 234.53. So just about there. Big gap up and go the whole day. Nice horseshoe up. So, let's look to the IWM now. Who knows? Is that going to take over for a little bit here? Been range bound real long time here. We discussed at nauseum over the last several sessions that I did this at this range here that it's been in. And, we can look here and see how the IWM is, pounded on this. And then, we always talk about not approximations. YouTube Perfect Circle, thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Talk about pivot lines approximation. So it didn't quite touch it here, but certainly was making a play for it. And then we pounded on it, almost pounded on it. And now we start to see it start to drift up and boom, make that move up. So we talk about these higher lows that started to come in here. And I discussed that it was looking like it was primed to make that move. Only price pays, only price action. I would suspect, barring something major happening, that we see a little follow through. Maybe we see that 240 level. I don't see why not at this point, unless we're looking at, a quadruple top. Do those even exist? I'm not even sure if those exist. So I just made that up. I didn't really just make it up, but that's kind of what I'm seeing there. I think it's, quote unquote safe to say that we'll take out all-time highs on the IWM pre-market at least. Well, I don't know if this even trades pre-market. Probably not pre-market, but market open tomorrow, we'll see. I don't see why not. Again, being the sign of a healthy bull market, that rotation. I have heard, over the many years that the IWM makes its all-time highs right before a market, makes a correction or gives it back. I'll be honest, in the several years that I've been trading, I haven't really seen that. Does it do it this time? I don't know. I'll just let the price and the charts dictate what we see. We'll look at the SPY here. Let's get it on an intraday and on a daily chart. Just, so strong on that SPY. Here's where I talked about you had a lot of people were ready to get short. I know people that were, they're hedging short here and they did well. They weren't short the market though, they just played that we'd made a run up. So let's play a little bit of a pullback. And they played the pullback well. And now they're back on this side of things again. It's, just the way the market goes, the ebb and the flow. You get up here as called the nosebleed seats all-time highs. Nobody wants to be short, but nobody wants to be long either. Everybody's ready to pull a trigger and sell. And like I discussed at the open of this session here, we get a gap up, we came down, we filled the gap and then some. We moved up, we came back, tested the lows of the day again, and we closed really strong again today. And we closed out just off of all-time highs there. So closed out at an all-time high, but not on all-time highs, I think, because obviously that is the all-time high now on that open. So, we closed out higher than, Friday was an all-time high close. We closed out higher than that. So we continue to grind higher. How are you going to manage the risk of that? Always remains to be the question, but not a bear case to be made in sight for there. Let's look at the diamonds representing our Dow 30. This one had been lagging behind for a few days and boom, right back up there. Before year end, I don't know. I don't like to, I don't know if there'll be a correction before year end. There absolutely could be. There's no, at this current moment in time, I can see no logical reason there should be, but the market doesn't always run on logic. So I'll say that, to be a correction, you need 10%, I believe, right? That's a textbook definition of a correction. Bear market's 20%. I don't see any reason that we get a 10% correction. A 5% pullback, I think that's very likely, to be honest. If we're looking for the whatever reason that could cause a significant sell-off, and anybody that knows me has listened to me do any of these, we haven't had any significant sell-off other than coronavirus since December of 2018. In my, as far as I'm concerned, 4, 5, 6, 7% pullbacks they're not really a sell-off. They're a pullback. Just the market can't go up every week. It just doesn't work that way. But if there was to be something that was going to cause something like that, it's going to be people can't Christmas shop the way they should. That's the only thing that I can possibly think of, other than some, a war breaking out, or triple, quadruple, deadly variant of coronavirus. I think, if you ask me, the market is telling us the coronavirus is behind us. It's over. That's the end of it. People are just going to talk and argue and fight about whatever they want. I haven't heard anything about a Delta variant in, I guess, over 6 weeks now, something like that. That's not the discount if people are getting sick in hospitals, and or people are hurt, and family members or anything like that. I'm just telling you what the charts are telling me. Um, Coronavirus is over as far as the stock market is concerned. That's my quote unquote opinion. I know that there's flight cancellations because people, because of mandates, and people aren't getting vaccinated or whatever, anything like that. The market doesn't seem to care anything about that whatsoever overall. Firehouses in New York are shutting down because of mandates. Police stations in, I don't know, somewhere, California maybe, are shutting down because of the mandate. The market doesn't care about any of that stuff whatsoever, according to any one of these charts. So what's going to take the market down? It'll be something that nobody ever saw coming, just like nobody saw the virus coming, and, just going to bring this back. Let's bring up the SPY, and let's go to a weekly time frame. We're going to kind of end on this note here. Start to end on this note. We'll look at the cues. The last big sell-off was here. All right, before coronavirus. This is going into the end of 2018. All right, November, December, and that only happened because the Fed said we were going to raise rates and ease, or I don't know, whatever the Fed said. The Fed said they were going to stop giving heroin to the market, essentially. And so the market said, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And the Fed said, oh, we're just kidding. And then the market went on to make new all-time highs again. And then it kept making new all-time highs. And then the virus happened. And I just put a big X there. That's, it's an anomaly. If you were to remove this from the chart, and then you just fast forward to the chart being here, from here to here, you'd have said, oh, it's a healthy correction that happened there. It's totally normal. And then we've gone on to do that. And if you would remove that, nobody would have had a clue about, you know what I mean? So would it just look like a healthy correction if we could just remove this one section from this chart? Obviously you can't, but and we continue to grind, and then a pullback, and we continue to grind, and there isn't even a pullback. I mean, look at this weekly chart. I guess you can call that a pullback. I guess you can. I guess you can call that a pullback. It's 5%. So, like I said, it'll come. It has to. Everything reverts to the mean. Everything always goes back to the mean. That's how markets work. That's how everything in life works. At what point? I don't know. So that's kind of the short and skinny of the market. But let's take a look at the cues. We'll wrap it up there. I don't see any other real questions coming in for the day here. The cues closed almost on all-time highs. I mean, this wick was the all-time high. We closed at an all-time high. And, one last thing to look at with the cues here. If we look at your semiconductors, look like they were having themselves a moment again in the sun. So there's SOXX, there's your semiconductors, just strong as can be. And the SMH, again, get out of the way of these charts. These pullbacks, and these pullbacks are just bought up every time and nonstop all through here. You want to look for strength, just these higher lows all through here, going all the way back to last year, in this weekly chart. So, adjust accordingly. Been in a little bit of a range here in the SMH, but it looks like it's ready to bust out. So at all-time highs again. That's what healthy bull markets do. And again, you want a snapshot of the market, the U.S. market. Here we go. Position and range. Look at this position and range filter. All right. You don't start to see negative till all the way down here. All right. The jets, the airlines are right in the middle here. And, what the airlines are battling, what they're battling, still with travel restrictions and things like that. So, but again, the market is telling us, the market's telling us what it's telling us. The VXX, again, that's just a hedge to play volatility that, there's no technical analysis to ever be done on that. You're welcome to do it, but, that's just what it is. So, all right, everybody. Yeah, no, I'm happy. And the last thing I'll end is I'm not a bull. I'm not a bear. I just watch the charts. I watch price action. The only thing that price pays, that's all that matters. As far as trading goes, I enter and exit my positions and share size based on what the charts are telling me, what I'm willing to risk, knowing that tomorrow we could wake up and the stock market will be at zero. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Of course. as far as long term, and I manage accordingly, and you should manage accordingly to your time frame and your risk tolerance. They go hand in hand. One doesn't go without the other. You don't share size for a stop loss down here based on a 5 minute chart. That's where these kind of things come in. So again, I'll wrap it up. Anybody that might be coming in, coming out, trade ideas, live Q&A. Normally I go to 4:30 every day on this. Today I got to cut out a few minutes early. I will be back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. This room opens every day at 9 o'clock Eastern. Barry runs it. He runs the traders room here on the YouTube side and the side that's a login from our website. It's free to anybody, anytime. You don't need a subscription. Come in, ask some questions. Noon Eastern every day on the YouTube side. Barry gives it up for an hour for a Q&A. He shuts down at 3, and I open back up again at 3:30 on the YouTube side. So thank you all for jumping in. Please come back, like, subscribe, all those things like that. Check us out. And any questions you have at any other time, you can get us at info@trade-ideas.com. All right, that's your address to get us at any time. Like I said, someone's there usually between 4:30 a.m. Eastern and about 10, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Someone will be there, trying to get you answers or researching an answer for you to get you as soon as possible. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday evening, and we'll catch you tomorrow at 3:30. Take care, and bye-bye.